In the previous episode, I completed the weathering and now it's time to finish the model. Stay tuned! Hello my friends! Let's do the final assembly of this Corsair model. Initially, I planned this series to be about 5 or 6 episodes long, but after more than 100 gigabytes of footage and 5 months of working on the thing, it turned out that I cannot show you everything in the amount that I have planned. So here we are in the 11th and final episode of the build. In the first steps of assembly, I attached the flaps and I got together the main gear legs and wheels. As it can be expected from Teme kit, the assembly is very straightforward and I had almost no issues. Most of the tools and materials I use you can find linked in the description. Moving forward with the undercarriage and the fuel tanks getting attached to the fuselage. The majority of the time I used CI glue, but also used various cements here and there and canopy glue where that was needed. Some people asked me in the comments why the seat belts are missing. So here they are, with the slight twist that there is going to be a pilot figure as well. I imagine if the pilot wants to get in such position, the belts should not be buckled up, so I left them undone. A bit sad that most of the details in the cockpit are obscured by the figure, but also I like the personality and the life that the figure adds to the scene. The rockets were one of the places where I had some issues. I think that either the fins are a bit larger or the spacing between the rockets is smaller than necessary and this messes up alignment. After painting the various lights on the wings, it is finally time to put the wings on. And they just slide in. On the other hand, the assembly is quite wobbly and weak, so one should be careful not to break it. I left this area to be detailed after the assembly, so first I attached a cross member that is out of the box detail, and then I added some hydraulic lines. Of course, this is simplified version of the real thing, but it works fine for me. Stretch sprue is not the most suitable material, but since everything is already painted, I like the base color that the black sprue gives me. And if I were to use copper wire, which is infinitely more malleable, and some copper would definitely shine somewhere. As usual, the small details are painted with water-based acrylic paints. The exhaust stacks are quite shallow, but since they are on the underside, they are not very prominent feature, so they should do the job. Using canopy glue, I attached a scratch built lever and a photo etch mirror inside the canopy. Although the canopy has no attachment points, it fits just fine, and all it needs is a bit of PVA/canopy glue in the base. For the antenna, I used rigging material from AK. It bonds extremely well with CA glue and stretches quite a lot, so it's not easy to accidentally break it. Using small pieces of 2mm flexible Tamiya tape, I covered the gun ports. I have seen this on some pictures, but I am not quite sure why it is there. Thanks to the polycap in the crankcase, the propeller fits snugly and does not need any glue. With that, this series is finished. If you want to see the pictures of the finished model, visit the link in the description. Also, I want to thank my Patreons, which help immensely, and I can keep up with the weekly uploads. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy modeling!